And new details about a heated shouting match. Peter Alexander has our new reporting.
Tonight, NBC News has learned new details of growing drama involving Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, including that his behavior has become, quote, erratic, and that he seems increasingly insecure about his job and standing in the administration, according to two officials familiar with the situation. At one point last month, we're told there was a heated confrontation between Hegseth and then acting chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Admiral Chris Grady. Hegseth was upset after news reports he approved a military briefing on China for Elon Musk, which Hegseth strongly denied. The Pentagon head screaming at Grady that he will, quote, effing polygraph him to find out if he leaked the information, according to 3 U.S. officials familiar with the meeting. This month, 3 Pentagon officials were fired in a leak investigation, but 2 of them were soon exonerated, according to multiple government officials.
Those folks who were leaking, who have been pushed out of the building, are now attempting to leak and sabotage the president's agenda and what we're doing. And that's unfortunate.
The latest scrutiny of Hegseth began in March after a report he discussed sensitive details of imminent U.S. airstrikes in a group chat on the encrypted Signal app. Hegseth denied any classified information was shared. But after the New York Times first reported Hegseth texted military information to a Signal chat, including his wife and brother, President Trump made clear to Hegseth he did not approve in a phone call describing Hegseth's actions as childish, according to 2 U.S. officials, but also telling Hegseth to keep fighting.
Why do you even ask a question like that? We have recruitments that's at an all-time high. The spirit in the armed forces is fantastic. Great confidence.
And Peter, you have some new reporting tonight on Secretary Hegseth and a special internet hookup.
Lester, that's right. That unsecured internet line that was installed into his office allowed him to use the Signal app on his personal computer, which 2 officials tell NBC News is in defiance of the Defense Department's usual security protocols, of course, raising concerns that the unsecure line could be more vulnerable to hacking or surveillance by foreign adversaries.
All right, Peter Alexander, thanks. A car bomb explosion in Russia killed a top military commander. The timing of the bombing coinciding with the arrival today of President Trump's special envoy in Moscow to meet with Vladimir Putin. Keir Simmons is covering it all for us. Keir, good evening.
Lester, good evening. That explosion today happened at almost exactly the moment President Trump's envoy landed in Moscow. The blast left a car outside an apartment block incinerated and looks like another brazen assassination of a military commander deep inside Russia. Russia calling it terrorist activity. Hours later, White House envoy Steve Witkoff met President Putin for the 4th time. The Kremlin called that constructive, saying they spoke for 3 hours, including about direct talks between Russia and Ukraine, but the Kremlin making no mention tonight of the unconditional ceasefire Ukraine wants first. And in a new interview, President Trump says his promise to end the war in 24 hours was an exaggeration. Lester?
All right, Keir Simmons, thank you. A new warning tonight of growing supply chain disruptions, potential empty store shelves, and higher prices as more major companies alert the trade war will hurt their business. Christine Romans has details.
A leading financial firm warning of COVID-era shortages on store shelves in just weeks because of President Trump's global trade war, chiefly with China. The 2 countries so far apart, they can't even agree if they are talking. President Trump today saying of China's President Xi, but China says, quote, China and the U.S. are not having any consultation or negotiation on tariffs. The U.S. should stop creating confusion. The trade war between the world's 2 biggest economies has major companies ripping up their financial projections and has rattled financial markets.
This level of uncertainty is not good, it's not healthy, and it's affecting investment spending and planning, and that will have an effect on growth in the economy.
The president says countries are clamoring to make deals.
But I think the tariff plan is doing very well. We're resetting the table. We're going to make our country very rich, very, very rich. It's already happening.
But with no new deals inked, global trade is collapsing. The number of containers coming from China to the U.S. cut in half. Dean Croak analyzes freight logistics.
It means higher prices for things like consumer goods, electronics, automotive parts, apparel, machinery. Back to school season is not far away from those items being ordered from overseas. Raising prices is going to be, I think, a very common thing.
Are we talking about truckers and potential job losses for the people who handle these goods?
It's already happening.
That warning from Wall Street firm Apollo says Main Street will feel it soon. Quote, in May, we will begin to see significant layoffs in trucking, logistics, and retail, particularly in small businesses. Meantime, polls show the public souring on the president's handling of the economy.
And Christine, there are reports that Apple may shift some of its production from China to India.
That's right. One of the byproducts of this trade war, Lester, is that many companies have been diversifying away from China. That started in the president's first term and then accelerated during COVID. Reports today that Apple aims to make more of the iPhones sold in the U.S. in India instead of China by the end of 2026. We have reached out to Apple but have not heard back.
All right, Christine Romans, thanks. Meanwhile, the trade war is taking a toll on some American companies that depend on imported goods from China. One even launched a room to handle it all. Andrea Mitchell explains.
In Chanhassen, Minnesota, a medical supply company providing critical products to hospitals and workers around the country.
Container 2825. We have a lot of our respiratory items on there.
Now caught in a global trade war.
$78,000 of extra tariffs. $52,000 would be our loss if we bring that container in.
We've got some tough headwinds ahead of us.
CEO Todd Fagley founded MedSource Labs in 2002. They survived the Great Recession, COVID, but now it's tariffs.
Jobs and factories will come roaring back into our country, and you see it happening already.
Is this a crisis?
Well, I think it's a bubbling crisis. I think the general public doesn't feel it yet, but there's going to be a lot of price increases in a lot of products.
It's a challenge they confront at a daily tariff meeting.
Can we just ship them to Colombia, finish the kits there, because those other products are being made there?
Yeah, let me check.
This is not Christmas time decorations. These are medical devices that we've got to deliver.
Many of these products come from China, but tariffs have made them too costly to replace. So they're waiting to see how bad the trade war gets before ordering more. That can lead to shortages in hospitals across the country. The company has factories in China and India, but also built a plant closer to home in Colombia. You don't have to worry about backlogs, the ocean, the canal.
100%. Yeah, and it's we don't have to worry about all that.
But the Colombia factory is maxed out. You tried to build in the U.S. You were in Indiana.
Yes,
right?
we were.
Home, that's what the president wants. Why not stay here?
During that 5 years, we lost money every year. It was very difficult. There was a lot of regulation, obviously. It was a big lift. We couldn't really find the skilled labor that we needed.
His message to the White House.
If we can put a factory back in the U.S., let's do it. If we've got the roadmap, we're ready to go. But that's unknown yet.
So now they're spinning the globe every day, waiting for the next decision from Washington. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Chanhassen, Minnesota.
And we'll be right back in 60 seconds with the latest on Luigi Mangione.